Imagine the shockwaves across the auto industry when a CEO steps on stage and confirms that their most secretive, most talked about engine isn't just a rumor, it's real. That is exactly what Mercedes has done. The company has finally revealed that the YASA Flux engine exists. An engine once whispered about in hushed tones is now front and center. This isn't just any motor. Early reports claim it's so powerful and so radically different that giants like Tesla, BYD, and Toyota could soon be losing sleep. If this engine makes its way into production cars, the entire game, petrol, diesel, and even today's electric batteries, could be flipped on its head. But the big question remains, what makes this engine so special? Is it truly the game changer the industry has been waiting for? Or is it just another flashy promise destined to fade away? And if it really delivers, could Tesla's EV dominance finally be under threat? One thing is certain, revolutions in car tech don't just appear overnight. They are born from years of research, hidden experiments, and carefully guarded strategies. The YASA Flux engine is no different. Many assume it surfaced suddenly, but in reality, Mercedes has been quietly working on it for years out of the spotlight with no grand claims, no hype, just relentless work behind the scenes. That silence was all part of Mercedes's master plan. Let's rewind for a moment. Between 2010 and 2015, the EV wave just exploded. Tesla proved with its early models that electric cars weren't just the future. They were already here. Mercedes, watching closely, knew one thing for sure. If they wanted to stay relevant, betting only on batteries just wasn't enough. They had to reinvent the motor itself. That's when their eyes landed on a small but brilliant British company, YASA. This startup was already experimenting with axial flux motors, and their early prototypes, well, they hinted at a technology that could completely reshape the industry. Mercedes saw the potential, stepped in with support, and by 2019 they took full control of YASA. That move laid the foundation for what is now being called one of the most disruptive engines in modern automotive history. From the outside, it looked like a simple business deal, but in reality, this was the step that laid the foundation of the YASA Flux engine. Mercedes poured millions of dollars into the project, gave YASA full funding, and put hundreds of engineers to work day and night. Over the past decade, this quiet partnership transformed into one of Mercedes' boldest innovations. The company kept the project so secret that even industry experts had no clue. People assumed Mercedes was just focused on luxury EVs, but behind closed doors, they were building an engine that could shift the direction of the auto industry. The second big factor in this master plan was timing. Mercedes never rushed to launch the technology. They knew that if they released an incomplete or weak product, companies like Tesla or BYD would ridicule it immediately. So they tested it thoroughly. Thousands of hours of driving simulations, experiments in every condition until they were fully confident. Only then did they announce it to the world. This move shows how much Mercedes has learned from Tesla. Tesla enters the market with a lot of noise, but Mercedes kept quiet, waited for the right moment, and then struck. This is their master plan. Say less, do more. So, what is the YASA Flux engine? Think about it. Whenever we talk about cars, the first thing that comes to mind is the engine. Once petrol and diesel ruled the roads, then the era of electric cars took over. But today, the name making the most headlines is the YASA Flux engine. Mercedes has revealed it, and discussions about it are spreading all over the world. But what exactly is this engine? And why is it considered so special? Let's break it down in the simplest terms possible. YASA is a British company that originally developed this engine technology before Mercedes took it under its wing. And flux simply means magnetic flow. Now understand this. Electric motors work on the interaction of electricity and magnets. Normal electric motors, which we call permanent magnet or induction motors, are thick and bulky. They take up more space and weigh a lot more. But the magic of the YASA Flux engine is that it's very small, lightweight, and extremely powerful. Its design is called axial flux. Now, what does axial flux mean? Let's put it in simple words. A normal motor rotates like a cylinder, while an axial flux motor rotates like a flat disc. In other words, instead of being a thick cylinder, this motor is like a thin round plate. The same question is being raised today about Mercedes's YASA Flux engine. From the information that has come out so far, it is clear that the Flux engine will currently be installed only in luxury and high-performance cars. The biggest reason for this is its initial cost. Being a new technology, its production cost is high, and companies would like to install it first in those vehicles where the price is already high. But this does not mean that it will always be expensive. As mass production begins and the research cost is recovered, this engine can also reach affordable cars. Now let's talk about the challenges of manufacturing. The design of the Flux engine is as unique as it is difficult to make. Companies have been manufacturing ordinary motors for decades, but the production of an axial flux motor is completely new. It requires very precise magnets and coils, and, honestly, it is not easy to connect and balance these machines. Mercedes may have the technology, but if it has to be installed in lakhs of vehicles, then it will have to prepare for mass production. This is the biggest challenge. Along with this comes the stress of raw materials and supply chain. Flux engines require rare earth elements such as neodymium magnets. Their supply is already limited to China and a few countries. If the demand for flux engines increases, the shortage of these metals may grow further. This will increase prices and put pressure on companies. To deal with this problem, Mercedes will have to find new suppliers and perhaps also pay more attention to recycling technology. Now, the question arises, when and how will the YASA Flux engine arrive in future cars? Mercedes is currently preparing to bring it in its luxury sports cars and high-performance models. Flux engines can be included in vehicles like their AMG series. Its advantage in SUVs will be that despite being a heavy vehicle, the Flux engine will give more torque and more power, making the driving experience of the SUV even more fun. At the same time, the use of flux engines in sports cars will make them capable of competing with vehicles like Tesla's Model S Plaid. Flux engines can also bring a big change in trucks and commercial vehicles. Heavy vehicles need more power and torque. Flux engines deliver more power despite being lighter, which means that electric trucks and buses will hit the roads with more range and power than before. If we look at the picture, after 2030, the flux engine can become the new standard of the EV industry. Just like today, every company uses lithium-ion batteries in its cars. In the coming time, every company could move towards motor technology like flux. It is possible that in the coming 7 to 8 years, this technology will become so common that even affordable electric cars will start getting flux engines. But here a big question arises, one that echoes through the annals of automotive history with a sobering resonance. Is this really the future of the EV industry, or just another corporate promise? A dazzling concept destined to be diluted by the harsh realities of mass production? The history of the auto industry is littered with the ghosts of revolutionary technologies that, while brilliant in the rarefied air of a design studio or a press conference, failed to deliver on their world-changing potential once they encountered the complex, unforgiving environment of the real world. We have seen hydrogen fuel cells perpetually remain a decade away, groundbreaking battery chemistries falter under durability tests, and revolutionary engine designs succumb to prohibitive costs or unforeseen engineering flaws. The chasm between a laboratory prototype and a reliable, affordable product sitting in millions of driveways is vast, and it is a graveyard for good intentions and hyperbolic marketing. The real test of the flux engine, the moment of truth that will separate genuine innovation from mere spectacle, will not occur on a carefully controlled test track or in a meticulously crafted promotional video. It will begin when it is fitted into the vehicles of everyday customers. Commuters facing freezing winters and scorching summers, families packing for cross-country road trips, and drivers who subject their cars to the daily grind of potholed streets and unpredictable demands. So, the ultimate verdict will be delivered not by engineers with diagnostic computers, but really by the collective experience of thousands of owners over hundreds of thousands of miles. How does the motor perform after, say, 5 years of constant use? What are the long-term maintenance costs? And, how readily available and affordable are replacement parts, especially those specialized magnets? Does its performance degrade significantly, or does it actually deliver on the promise of robust, enduring power? These are the questions that remain unanswered, the silent hurdles that stand between a promising debut and industry-wide adoption. So now the decision is yours to ponder. We stand at a potential inflection point, but the direction of the turn is yet to be determined. Do you believe that the Flux engine possesses the unique combination of performance, manufacturability, and economic viability to truly change the future of electric vehicles, setting a new benchmark that renders current motor technology obsolete? Or do you suspect it will fade away like other technologies in a few years? A niche application for hypercars that is eventually surpassed by incremental improvements in conventional motors, or an entirely different technological breakthrough? The trajectory of this innovation depends on a multitude of factors. Mercedes' commitment to scaling production, the global stability of the supply chain for its essential materials, and ultimately the market's reception to the first vehicles that carry this new heart. What is your opinion based on what you've learned and your understanding of technological history? Where do you place your bet? Tell us your thoughts, your predictions, and your skepticism in the comments below. We are genuinely interested in this conversation. And yes, a sincere thanks for staying till the end and engaging with this deep dive into the forces shaping our mobility. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more such amazing and true stories as we continue to track the journey of the YASA Flux engine and all the other developments that are racing to define the next chapter of the automotive world. Enjoy.